What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So today we decided to go hiking. Initially, I planned on just vlogging the trip, but then I was thinking about the purpose of the trip, and I thought you all might be interested in the purpose. So this was a church hike. We hiked up the mountain to pray, and the message that I wanted to broadcast with this video was sacrifice. Remember when I spoke about the true meaning of Christmas? If you haven't watched it, do check it out. I'll leave a card here for y'all. In essence, the spirit of giving during the festive season is based on the greatest gift mankind has ever received, which was from God, an act of love whereby He sacrificed His only Son so that we may get a chance at life. And putting Christianity aside or faith aside, if you look at any relationship, it's two individuals, two completely different individuals, independent of each other, come together with their differences and their similarities, and they try to become one person, because a relationship is basically one thing, a couple becoming one. And then they have to find ways in which they can become one. So they will have differences because they're different people, obviously, and as different people they need to sort out these differences, meaning that someone, and usually both of them, are going to have to compromise on something, which is a sacrifice. They're sacrificing something that is dear to them, something they do or like for the sake of their partner's happiness or for the sake of the relationship itself.
Bobby, my love, look at me. Hello. You can say hi. Bye.
So now this applies to all types of relationships, be it a romantic relationship, a friendship relationship, or parent-mother relationship, or parent-child relationship, and also a relationship with God. Now, obviously, any type of relationship, if one person is always the one giving and the other person is just receiving, that relationship is not going to last long. You can test it out, be it with friendship, be it with, unless one of y'all decides to be a pretender, but there is still, like, it's more, it helps my case, if I can say that. But the relationship cannot be one-sided. One person cannot always be putting more than the other person. You want to see that your partner is also invested in you as much as you're invested in them. In the same way with a friend, if you're invested in your friend, you want your friend to also invest in you. Similarly with God, if God invests in you, He expects you to also invest in Him. Obviously you won't be able to match up to Him because He's a God, but He wants to see that you do love Him. He wants to see that you want to build a relationship with Him. So, and if it's one-sided, well, I call it a parasitic relationship if it's one-sided, because parasites tend to always be benefiting the most compared to the host. So it's a parasitic type of relationship when one person is the one benefiting from a relationship compared to the other. It's meant to balance out or at least satisfy the other person. It doesn't have to be equal in terms of everyone must see that it's equal. No, your partner must feel that you are showing them love, or you are showing them the respect that they deserve, and vice versa. I take prayer for example. When we pray, they say prayer is a conversation with God, but is it really a conversation if you are always the one speaking and never having time to listen to him, like to wait for a response? That is not a dialogue in my books. A dialogue is when two people are communicating. You speak, I listen. I speak, you listen. Not I speak the whole time and you listen, or you speak the whole time and all I do is listen. That is not how it works, and that's the same thing that applies to God. In the same way that you treat all your different relationships in your life, it's the same way God expects us to treat his relationship with us. So he has given us a lot of things, like, and most of which we don't, it's like things that we consider very small until we don't have them anymore. So we don't think of them as blessings until they gone, which is sad, but that is the reality of things. He gives us a lot of things. He sacrifices a lot of things for us. He wants to make us happy. He wants to see us happy. However, what is it that you are doing to show him that you love him? What is it that you are doing to show him that you want this relationship with him? How are you making this a more two-sided relationship instead of a parasitic type of relationship, and this is where sacrifices come in. So in the same way that God sacrificed his son to show us that he loves us, we also need to sacrifice certain things to show him that we love him. And fasting is a great example of this. Fasting is a great example of this because usually people sacrifice food, but fasting doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be sacrificing food. It can be you're sacrificing the amount of time that you spend on social media, because I know most of us spend a lot of hours on social media. So if you decide that I'm not going to be on social media for 3 days, and in the times that you want to be on social media, you're going to use those moments to pray or read the word or listen to a sermon or something like that. That is you engaging with God instead of, so you're fasting from the thing that you like, something that you enjoy and you do often enough to spend time with him. Because if you're a person who doesn't eat, then fasting food won't work for you, because you don't eat, so there's nothing that you're really sacrificing. So fasting in essence is not specifically for food, but if it's food, then you're sacrificing the time you spend on eating food and replacing it with spending time with God, which is what was happening with this hike. All of these men and women were fasting and they decided to hike up. Imagine you're fasting and you're hiking. Yeah, those two usually don't go together, but that is what they were doing, and it was to show God their devotion, because that is all he asks from us. He wants us to show him that we love us. He wants our actions to show that we want a relationship with him, that we are with him, you see. So I personally am so proud of everyone who went on this hike. It was a church hike. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. It was a church hike. Some people couldn't make it because of work. It was during the week because it was a Tuesday. But for those who did make it, I am proud. I am proud because it wasn't easy. People found it very difficult, especially the going up part. Going down is always easy, but it was the going up part. For some, it was their first time hiking, and they still did it. And when we got up there, we prayed, and it was just it was beautiful. That's what I'm gonna say. It was beautiful. And what I want you to know is, if you want to build a stronger relationship with God, or you want to improve on your relationship with God, or show him how much you care about him and your relationship, then you should also ask yourself, what is it that you can do that is a sort of sacrifice to show that you love him? What is it that you can do? Something that, it has to be something that is difficult for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fast, but something that you find difficult, that you decide to do so that you can connect with him some more, so you can get deeper or have a stronger relationship with him. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you guys. Until next time, guys. Peace.